What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining us on another FCP Euro DIY. Today, we're going to be working on a 2008 Mercedes-Benz W211 E63 AMG. Today, on the W211 behind me, we're going to be covering how to replace your engine air filters. And in our situation, we're going to be replacing them with some AFE performance units, as well as upgrading our air boxes. We're going to be using the ROW lids from Mercedes-Benz, also known as Rest of World, as the US models like the one that we have behind us got equipped with a little bit more of a restrictive lid. Now what I mean by that is you can see this one's pretty open. It's got a nice Velocity style stack neck. The US models like the one behind us has a second element that filters. It's like an intermediate filter made out of charcoal, so it's a little bit more restrictive. And the neck is a little bit thicker and squared off, so it doesn't flow as well as these Rest of World units do. On top of that, we're going to be using some AFE dry performance filters. These give you up to 25% more breathing air, so the engine's not only going to be breathing more with the new lids, but also with the performance filters that we'll be installing. However, if you're looking to just replace your stock filters, this DIY will still be applicable. Before we get started on this job, let's take a look at some of the tools we're going to need for this DIY. For this DIY, we're going to need two very simple tools, a flathead screwdriver or a 6mm hex bit. I'm using a CTA flexible screwdriver with a 6mm hex bit for our clamps. And then our boxes are held down by a T25. So I'm going to be using a T25 driver today, but a regular T25 bit on a ratchet will work just fine. In some cases, just keep in mind you may need to vacuum out or blow out some debris, so some compressed air or a shop vac will come in handy. Now we have our tools covered, let's go ahead and head over to the W211 and get started. All right, my good people, we are under the hood of the W211. It's time to get started. We're going to start by removing this forward beauty cover. To do so, I like to start on either end first. You reach underneath and you feel the tabs. You push them up. There's two. And you can pull the rest of the beauty cover off. Go ahead and set that to the side. With that removed, we're going to want to go ahead and start by disconnecting our mass airflow sensors. So each one has a beauty cover on it. You simply lift it off, set that to the side. We're going to need them again. Now on the passenger bank, the tab is located underneath. On the driver's bank, you can see the release tab is located on top. So the idea is that you squeeze on it, pull back, and disconnect. Same thing on the passenger bank. Beautiful. Next, we have two hose clamps that we're going to want to undo. You can use a flathead screwdriver or you can use a 6mm socket. I have these cool bendable CTA screwdrivers that have a socket head on them, so this has a 6mm on it. I'm just going to use that, but a flathead screwdriver will work just fine. All right, from there, you're going to want to grab your T25. Again, we're using the screwdriver type. You have 4 on each lid that you need to remove, so we'll start on the passenger bank. We have 2 on the manifold side of things. Make sure you hang on to these. We're going to reuse them for the new install. You have a 4th one at the front of the lid, and then I lied to you, there's a 5th one that's also hiding out back. So 5 total. You have one more T25 out back here. Passenger bank is by the oil dipstick. The driver's one is by the fuel line, the braided fuel line. With all those removed, now we can work on removing this lid. Simply pull up and off to the side. You can see the filter comes out with it. Sometimes, as you'll see on that receiving end of our air box, there's a bunch of loose debris or leaves. We're going to go ahead and vacuum that out, and then we'll get ready to install our new filter with our upgraded lid. So before we go ahead and set these old units to the side, I wanted to show you the difference between the US lid, or air box I should say, and the ROW that we're installing. If you take off your stock filter, you can see inside you have the secondary charcoal element. So this is just acting as a restrictor really, more of emissions thing than anything for the US. Some people, like I mentioned, do remove this, cut this out. However, the interior neck is still not the same as the upgrade that we're installing today. Here's a good side-by-side of the two. So just something to keep in mind. All right, we've gone ahead and cleaned up our engine side of things a bit. We're gonna go ahead and take our new filter and our new lid, or in this case, the stock lid if you're not upgrading, and your new filter, whether it be stock or this AFE upgrade. Kind of sit it into place, and then we're gonna go ahead and feed them into the car. Now, the next step is gonna be to install our 5 T25 screws before we tighten down the clamp. That way we know that the lid is sitting properly on our engine. These you just want to hand tight. They're not going to take a lot of torque as it's just a metal screw going through plastic into plastic. No more than 7 Newton meters if you were to torque these down for some reason. With those, now you can go ahead and tighten down the clamp. And don't forget your mass airflow sensor. Last but not least, on that side, we're going to put the little beauty cover back over the sensor. Beautiful. With that one done, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the driver's side bank, and then we'll catch up with you in just a moment. Alrighty, with both air boxes done, both of our filters replaced, mass airflow sensors back in, hose clamp tightened down, all we have left to do is to reinstall our beauty cover. So similar to the way we took it out, you can see the locating tabs. There's a total of 6 that clip into our engine side of things, so you want to make sure you line them up and then press down gently. Boom, baby. And there you have it, my good people. Another DIY in the books. Overall, a really easy DIY, really easy upgrade, and a really easy service item. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, or there's specific W211 content you want to see, leave it in the comment box below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.